The roots of Fishers United Methodist Church are deep in Fishers, Indiana. But the roots of the Methodist Church are more than a history lesson. It's a story of service, fellowship, and discipleship to the surrounding community. It's a story of a church that evolved to meet the ever-changing needs of the community around it. A church that grew in both size and faith while finding new ways to spread the love of God and share the good news of Jesus Christ. The seeds were planted 150 years ago through the foresight of the city's founder during the establishment of the city of Fishers, then known as Fishers Switch. The Fisher family donated land for the specific use of a church and a lodge. This church opened its doors in 1874 and became the first official congregation in the community. The church remained at this location for the next 30 years until the congregation felt the need for an exclusive building designated for only congregational worship. In 1905, the church building that still stands today on Lantern Road was built. This building served as a meeting place for worship and through several rounds of growth provided classrooms and meeting space for Bible studies and multiple Sunday school classes. 50 years after the opening of the Lantern Road Church, the demands of a growing Fishers community once again called for the need of expansion. So in 1961, the congregation decided to move east of I-69 on 116th Street. This was made possible thanks to the generous donation of 2.5 acres by the Reynolds family. After several rounds of fundraising and congregational commitments, the church was able to break ground on a new facility in the summer of 1962. The first service in that building was held on Christmas of that year. The new facility provided much-needed classrooms for Bible studies and the continuing growth of the church's youth ministry. As the community continued to grow, so did the church, adding additional classrooms, a dedicated choir room, and meeting space. By the time the 1980s came around, Fishers UMC was becoming one of the fastest-growing congregations in the state, offering more than a dozen Sunday school classes and fellowship programs for youth, teens, and adults. Among these offerings to the community was the start of the Mother's Day Out preschool program, which started in 1987. By 1990, membership was at an all-time high and new plans for expansion were in the works. These plans included a 600-person sanctuary, additional restrooms, a new choir room, and much, much more. By June 28, 1992, the first service was held in the new sanctuary. There were several other rounds of changes adding preschool and Bible study classrooms over the next several years. The addition of the Family Life Center provided opportunities for the congregation to minister in a multitude of ways, including children and youth activities, Upward basketball, and adult events.
We added Upward as a way of drawing people not in from our own congregation, but from the community. And from the get-go, we had a number of people who would sign up their children to play Upward basketball who were not a part of our church, but they were exposed to the church, and part of the Upward program involves a devotional done by the coaches, so they were getting that exposure to the faith.
In 2007, the church purchased the Lions Club next door, which made room for additional event space, as well as a perfect place to launch a food pantry.
Several people, Linda Williams, a former choir director, was the one who really saw the need, and with some help from a couple of other people, initially started the idea, and then it spread. People became enthusiastic about it. I still talk to some people that work at the food pantry and what a vital ministry that is in their lives, because they feel it's a way they feel that they are making a difference and putting their ministry into action. And so the food pantry has and continues to be a very, very vital ministry at the church.
The church was not only adapting its facilities to meet the needs of the community, it was also changing the way in which it was engaging with the people around them.
The church has to be adapting all the time. I mean, a community like Fishers, it's adapting, it's changing at a breakneck pace. We did a lot of work to move into, finally, the 21st century, not just in internal administration and infrastructure, but also in terms of reaching out on websites, digital platforms, social media. So learning how to tell our story in ways that let the community know that we are available, we're offering things that might be useful to them, and wanting to partner with them in their lives for anything from personal financial accountability, support groups for young parents, and anywhere we saw an opportunity arise, there was almost always somebody who seemed to step forward and say, we'd like to be a part of that.
As you can see, Fishers UMC has had a strong history of evolving to meet the needs of the community. The generosity and the commitment of the congregation has made the dream of spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ a reality.
I focus more on Jesus' 2 commandments: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, all your mind. And I think we do that through what happens in the building, worship, classes, and so forth. But then the second great commandment was love your neighbors yourself. So try to make contact with people and show them that we love God through the way that we love them.
The church offers the gospel, and if the church no longer could do that, the community would be greatly impoverished, and folks would miss the joy of what God has in store for all of us. So I see a long forward look for this congregation. I mean, today's celebration of 150 years is an amazing thing. I just pray that God blesses the community and this congregation for many, many, many more years for our good and His glory.